It is Friday, August 25th. Let's talk PlayStation. There are just a few heavy PlayStation-related news stories that I'd like to share with you all this past week, and we'll get into our first news story right now. This one's very important given Sony's history, but this past week, Sony's Twitter account and Facebook account was compromised by a hacker group. The hacker group was Our Mind, a pretty popular Saudi Arabian hacker group, who apparently they're more so on the security side of things. They're actually more of a white knight, if you will. This is sort of self-proclaimed from them. They didn't hack into the accounts to necessarily release any information. You can see the displayed tweets that they sent out while they had the accounts in their hands, basically saying, hey, PlayStation, contact us. What this hacker group typically does when they hack other celebrities or social media accounts, which is really all they've done in the past. It's just more of a sort of pointing out security vulnerabilities and things like that, and looks like Sony was the target this time. They did claim that they had PlayStation Network databases. Who knows, how realistic that is. But this is something that happened this past week, and then the tweets were quickly deleted. I'm sure Sony's got the accounts back and everything like that. No word at all in terms of a sort of follow-up. But the group itself claims there's no bad intentions on what they do, and they're really just kind of sort of demonstrating their own talents and trying to sell services to bigger corporations and things like that for kind of sealing in those security vulnerabilities. And this is, of course, particular to Sony because we all remember 2011. If you don't remember 2011, there was a very long PSN outage where the PlayStation Network was taken down, and it was down for about 23 days. It was a really big deal. Sony had to completely spend all those days rebuilding the database. All the 77 million PlayStation Network accounts at that time were essentially, out in the open. Credit card information was compromised. A very big deal. Sony actually spent a lot of money sort of, putting that whole thing behind them. I forget what the figure was, but I believe it was around a couple $100 million. I really don't remember the figure, but they put a lot of money into sort of swiping that one under the rug. And it's really, that stigma is still stuck with Sony for a while in terms of network security. So, and even to this day, we still kind of question how stable PlayStation Network necessarily is, since there is a lot of frequent maintenance. We still know for a fact that we can't change PSN IDs, and Sony's vocal about the fact that they can't just add it in right away because of just how the network was initially sort of built with user IDs. It's very easy to tell that it's sort of a mess on their back end. But I would hope in the coming years that Sony reinvests a lot of money into the network and they sort of get a lot of this stuff straightened out, because these are the kind of things you really don't want to see, and it's really not good PR for them. It just doesn't look good. Moving on to a very special looking PlayStation 4 that Sony Europe recently announced. It's a Gran Turismo Sport themed PlayStation 4 Slim. Looks very cool. So the system's going to be €299. It's going to come with the game, of course. It's a 1TB hard drive, and you can see it's a very special looking console. A silver faceplate, Gran Turismo logo, comes with a controller, a Gran Turismo logo on the touchpad. What I like about these bundles is that if you don't want to opt for the whole console, they are also selling the controller separately, which is very cool. This is going to be coming out day and date, October 18th with the game, and as of right now, it's only known for Europe and Australia. I wouldn't really expect this game to come to the United States or North America, but if you seriously want to get your hands on this kind of system, I would suggest you do it, because it likely won't be here for much long. For that long, basically, once the initial run of units on launch day are out. So really, for the past week, a lot of the news stories are really focusing on Microsoft, understandably, because they had their Gamescom showcase, so they were really more in the news than anybody else. But anyway, Xbox's Aaron Greenberg had this to say regarding cross-network play in terms of working with Sony. They actually actively said they're working with Sony every single day to try to get cross-network play to work, and Aaron Greenberg had this to say: absolutely, yeah, we're talking to Sony about cross-play. We do partner with them on Minecraft, and of course we would like to enable them to be part of that. One community to unite gamers, so we're talking to them, and we're hopeful that they'll be supportive of it. Now, this quote isn't particularly surprising. Of course, they're talking with Sony, although I'm sure Aaron's putting a much more lighthearted spin on it and kind of giving it a more hopeful sort of approach of like, yeah, hopefully we'll come to some sort of conclusion and sort of arrival to an answer to the problem. Although you'd have to figure that in the background, this sort of conversation is probably a little bit like Microsoft saying, what do we have to do to get you guys to do this? And Sony's probably aggressively saying no over and over again, more in line with whatever Microsoft's sort of requirements are, and Microsoft isn't necessarily budging on those requirements to allow the cross-network play. You got to assume that's sort of what it is, so I'm guessing it's like less of a conversation, more of like negotiation. And it's probably aggressive negotiation for sure. I mean, initially when we talked about cross-network play, we found out sort of right away that in terms of how Microsoft is trying to get it to work, is that you would actually need an Xbox Live account, which Sony is going to have a big fucking problem with allowing you to, with allowing PS4 users to need an Xbox Live account. They wouldn't be down with that whatsoever. Although Sony hasn't publicly said anything regarding that. The only thing that they've actually said in response to cross-network play is that they have a sort of responsibility to their user base, and sort of playing it off of like, oh, we have a lot of young gamers and whatnot. We want to, we want to make sure that we take care of them and they're in a safe environment, which to this day is a pretty bullshit answer, and that was given by Jim Ryan at the time. But yeah, Microsoft's still working on it for sure. I really think they're not. It's who said it? It was Mike Yarba said it. He said this isn't going away. Mike Yarba of Xbox. He said this sort of issue isn't going away. They're gonna keep at it until Sony maybe budges on it, and I just don't think they're going to. What's even more interesting is sort of a segue off of this news story into the same topic. Is that the developer of Ark Survival Evolved apparently has, internally of course, they have cross-network play already figured out for PS4 and Xbox One. Internally they've got it solved. And when they were questioned of, so is this something that's going to get released? They responded with the very obvious answer: we have it working internally, but currently Sony won't allow it. So if you had any sort of doubt about who was really more at fault here, it seems like Sony is definitely the party here that's saying, we are not going to be a part of this. We still don't have all the concrete details, and we won't get all the concrete details until they come to an agreement and we actually get the feature, or we just straight up don't get the feature at all. But either way, we're probably never going to get details about it until like long-term, 5-10 years down the line. Like I was saying, somebody high-ranking leaves the company and they do an interview and they really sort of spill the deets as to what was going on. But it seems pretty set in stone right now that Sony's not going for it, and whatever Microsoft is asking in terms of making it work is probably too favorable of terms for them. And it still goes into the fact that Sony doesn't need to allow this. They're really not in a position to go that extra mile, if this is even being seen as an extra mile. It's just, it's still not in their best interest to do it, really, and I can see that from Sony's perspective. I'm not saying it's the right move on Sony's part. I think it could really go either way in terms of what really is best for them, and certainly what's best for the consumer. I think at the end of the day, most consumers would benefit from having every single platform be cross-play with each other, so that's certainly a positive there. But in the business world, it's a different beast. So Sony's in this spot right now where they don't have to, so they're still not gonna. Those are just some of the news stories I want to talk about with you guys this week. So if you want to know what the next Let's Play is going to be, I have absolutely no idea whatsoever, and I will not have one ready by Monday. What I can tell you is we can maybe start doing a Twitter poll or something. I'll tell you what I really want to do, actually. And this will probably be the first time I'll ever stream. I've never streamed before, but the recent release of Jak and Daxter on the PlayStation 4 as a premium PS2 game up-rendered with trophies. I want to do one whole day where I stream that entire goddamn game and get the platinum. You guys all know I'm about that Jak and Daxter, and I can platinum that game in one day easy. And I want to do that. I don't know when I'll do it, though, but when I do it, I will absolutely fill you guys in on the exact time and date of when we do that, and you can all come hang out, and it'll be live, and I'll talk to you guys for real this time. I mean, I feel like I talk to you now, as I often say. I always look directly into the camera, and I directly point at you, and I say, I'm talking to you. But, it's pre-recorded, right? And so when you say something back to me, I'm not going to see it until I decide to read comments. So it's kind of like we're talking to each other, but not really, So I think live streaming will be pretty cool. But I'll fill you in on when that happens, and I will fill you in on probably a Twitter poll or something for the next Let's Play. But anyway, that concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm Rabbit. Thank you all so much for talking with me, and I will see you guys next Friday.